Hey there. I hope that you're joining me on this live video today. This was really nice of you to join me. This video is all about the 3 steps really that we need to take in order to discover that our gifts and talents within ourselves. And I'm doing this video because I really believe the information behind this will really give a whole different meaning to, why we're here, who we are, and really to help us understand better to utilize the interactions that we have with others. Because truly, there's a reason, obviously, that we're all here. We all have a purpose, a life purpose, but it's the interactions that we have with each other that really is the beneficial factor. Rather, they're great interactions or they're poor interactions. We often don't know how to really process these emotions. And I think that having a better understanding of who we are, and I think that really, adds a lot of value to it. But I think for me personally, it was a milestone moment when I realized that there are gifts and talents. When I realized a lot of information about who I was and why I'm here, and it added value to myself, and it gave me purpose. So I hope by the end of this video that you find that same aspect in you, because truly we're all here having an incredible value that I think is underrated, and not only within ourselves, about ourselves, but also about others. Everybody has something valuable to add to our lives. And if we can figure that out, we're golden. I think that it's necessary to know what that is. And sometimes if you look at your life and say, what is my life purpose? What is the purpose of my life? Sometimes we don't know how to answer that. And then we also can say, well, what gifts do I have? You have so many unique talents and gifts within you that some are aware of them and some aren't. And that's what this video is really going to help you figure out if that's something that is of interest of you, and it helps you really look at, how are you doing, and to begin utilizing these aspects within yourself so that you feel your best every single day. And truly, it's really for the highest and greatest good of everyone that we know what these are. In the description below, there's a little handout that you can download into your computer and take notes. I suggest that one of the things that I found incredibly beneficial is that when you do this process the first time, you're gonna do it a few times, and it's really such a beautiful thing to do within yourself, because you start to clean out stuff. You get rid of things that really no longer serve you or benefit you in any real way. So I'd like you, just take a few moments and pull this off. And I think it's really safe to say, I need to move this camera a little bit. The experience, sometimes we feel like we're failing and that we are failures, and we're really not. We're really not. Sometimes the greatest falls that we have are truly the greatest blessings that we could ever have in our lives, because when we pick ourselves up out of that, we really can see the beneficial aspects of it, and how, even though that was probably the hardest thing you've ever been through, when you process it correctly within yourself, it really turns out to be probably because you're being redirected into the purpose, into the life that you need to live in. And sometimes we can sit in these moments, and they're long or they're short. It doesn't. The process is irrelevant to the fact that when you come out of this stage of unworthiness or guardedness, and then you're able to really clear it all out properly, then, and this is about healing forward, I think that it really adds a lot of value. And hopefully by the end of this video, I'm certain there will be significant takeaways for everybody. Even if it's the size of a mustard seed, take away. It, regardless, it doesn't really matter how big or small. What matters is that you find value within yourself from the information that you're going to receive on this. All I ask is that, just really commit yourself fully to this. It would really be unfair of you to think that you're watching this video by chance. I think that everybody, all of the experiences that we have in our life are opportunities, and I hope this is an opportunity that brings you a lot of self-assurance, a lot of reassurance within yourself, and a lot of maybe questions, just as long as it piques something within you to really see that value within you. I think that that's really what's important. And the next thing, you're amazing. Everybody on the other side of this video, no matter if you're watching it now, if you're watching it 10 years from now, it's really important to know you're just amazing. And you have so much value that and it could even be hidden. And if it is, that's okay. That's okay. Because it just hasn't been time to bring that out yet, right? It's just not a safe time for you to bring it out. But if you're sitting in a place that you're ready to bring that out, great. If you're sitting in a place you're not ready to bring it out, this will help you. No matter where you are, this video is truly going to be tremendous value. I just know it because that's what I asked for when I started creating it. And the most important thing about this is really have fun with this. This isn't a process of being hard on yourself or criticizing yourself or others or judging yourself or others. This is just a time for you to be with you and be still and be at a level of balance within yourself, and really look at these things objectively. Look at them, don't judge them, just look at them objectively. People say, well, what if I fail? What if I fail? But what if you fly? What if by doing this you soar? And that's what it takes. You got to have fun so that you can soar through this, because this has some really big insights to it, and I hope that you gain the most. Really, the most important aspect of this, seriously, is that you really need to have fun along the way, which I explained. So just, roll up your sleeves and get on something comfy if you're home, and you can replay this video for a little while. Maybe I think I'll leave it up for about 24 to 48 hours, and then I'm going to take it down. But just roll it, just put on something comfy, and the most important thing is, really enjoy this journey that we're going to take for a little while. I've never done one of these videos before. It was kind of, it's just something I'm trying, and if it works, I think it's going to be great. If it, I'll make some changes to it whenever I need to. So if you have your little book, into this 3 steps to discover your inner talents, I think it's page 3. It's on page 3. There's a section there that says, "Who am I?" And I want you to just take a few moments and answer this question. Just say to yourself, who am I? Who do I see myself being? And there's no right or wrong answers, but just take a few moments and really think about that. And I'll give you just a couple little moments, and I'll share my story with you while you're writing. When I was asked this question, I started talking about my kids, my family, my new marriage, my business that I was, attending college part-time. And then when I was done with my story, and I was really proud of myself with this story, the next statement that came out of the person's mouth that asked me this was the catalyst for everything that I've been doing in the past 17 years. And it was this. She said, "Lesley, those are nice attributes of you, of the outer aspects of your life. What I asked you, though, was, who are you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, who are you? Who are you on the inside? Looking. And I said, what? And she said, look within. Look within. And I said, look within what? And she said, look within you. And I had no idea what that meant. And I was 40. So if you are looking within yourself and you're saying, who am I? And you're looking at all the aspects and the attributes around you, your house, your car, money, family, whatever, those are attributes of our lives. They're not who we are. And when those things go, then what? Then what's left? And that's the one that really got me. It's like, if those, because that's what happened, those things were no longer a part of my life. And I just didn't know what was inside. And what I found inside was that I personally had lived my entire life trying to be what other people wanted me to be and expected me to be. And really I was pleasing everyone and then really pleasing no one, because it wasn't working. It wasn't working. Because when all those things are gone, and then it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for my life. It was working for, for the things that everybody wanted at the time that I was around, but it wasn't working for me. And if that's you and you're doing the same thing, you're not alone. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be concerned about. What's really important with this is now you get to do something about it, right? Now you get to really look at it and decide what you want that to be for you. I'm trying to make sure that this sits so you can see me. So if you've already gotten to that point within yourself that you've answered this question, and if you need some other time, sit down perhaps later when you have a few moments and really think about those questions, because it's important to understand who we are on the inside, what makes us us. And by the end of this video, you're going to have probably a better foundation to really look at that stuff on. So let's just move on to the next section. The next section is a space about clearing out clutter. We all have, it might be surprising to learn that, honest to God, we have all this clutter within ourselves of things that we've done or experiences that we have that we don't know what to do with or process. And it's kind of funny, because it's ironic, I guess, not funny, but it's ironic that the United States has more storage facilities than anywhere else in the world, because we store stuff. We store stuff in storage units, right? And it was a clear indication to me when I started, really thinking about how to present this stuff. It was a clear indication to me that we as a society are holding on to things that we're really not utilizing, not only externally, but if it's on the external, then it's also on the internal, right? And when I started looking up, and that it's not serving us, it's not serving our greater good to hold on to these things. If we can't see it, and we're not using it, it's not good for us, yet we're still paying for this storage, whether it's an external storage unit or an internal storage unit, right? If we're still paying for it, say on an emotional perspective or a financial perspective, somehow this storage is still being created. And once we clean it out, then we're in better shape. But if we hold on to it, we have to remember that one man's junk is another man's treasure. So the more we hold on to things that we don't believe about ourselves, the more junk that's in there, the more false beliefs and stuff. It's another person's opportunity to how do I say this? It's another person's opportunity. Well, let's just put it this way. When you hold on to this junk, it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't really serve the other person, because if you're a giving person, you keep giving, 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 you're really not helping that other person, because they're not growing, because you're doing what they need what they need to do for themselves. Does that make sense? So one person, that's their little treasure. They didn't have to do it all themselves, but truly in the end, they didn't learn anything, right? It's like having somebody do your schoolwork, but at the end of the year or at the end of that time, you have to take this test. You know nothing, and that's where the sadness comes in. And I think that we all do it. I don't think that we all do it, and it's nothing to just something to be aware of. That in order for us to get what we want, we have to be able to do these things for ourselves. Now, does that mean don't do other things for other people? Absolutely not. But there are certain things that we can do for ourselves, that we need to do for ourselves, that other people shouldn't be held to the responsibility for. And vice versa. We shouldn't be doing things for other people that they need to be doing for themselves, because we can support them through their journey. We can support them in other ways. But by doing it, we get into that codependency kind of relationships, and it really doesn't serve us, any of us at all. And so when I looked at the statistics about the storage units, 155,000 storage units, are auctioned off every year with just one storage company. Just one. There are also popular cable shows that talk about this. There's the Storage Wars and Auction Hunter Chronicles, where they go in and bid on these storage units. They've never even seen what's inside. They've never seen what's inside, but they're going to bet on it. They're going to spend either their time, energy, and money, but they don't know what's inside. That's interesting, right? What's inside? What is it? That's something to really think about while you're doing this. Is it worth a gamble? Is it worth? And it's not just within you, but it's also within the people that you're interacting with. What's inside? What's being stored that no longer needs to be there? And how can you clean this out? And it's really vital that we clear this inner storage out, and let things go. You simply can't afford. None of us can afford to continue to keep this stuff and paying for it on emotional levels towards things that aren't valuable to us. And this is done by making peace. We can make peace with whatever it is. With whatever it is, you can find peace within yourself and harmony in the situation that will allow for you to live a more balanced, regular life. It'll give you the correct balance that you need. And we find peace through accepting what was. Just accept this is what it was. And how do you find harmony? You take from the situation when something tragic happens, right? We make peace with it, and we say, yeah, we accept, yeah, this is what happened. But you make harmony, you create harmony in the situation by only taking from that what is going to benefit you. What can you take from that that's going to benefit you? Are you stronger now? If it was something that was inflicted on you, are you stronger now? Where did you gain wisdom? Because we can either allow these situations to make us better, or we can let it make us bitter. And when we store this stuff, it inevitably will make us bitter. So by really looking at it, because some of it's ours, that we get to learn from, rather in whichever way it is. It's either something we've done or something that was done to us or an experience that we had. It's all through our experiences. But we get to take this stuff from this knowledge from it, and gain our wisdom. But the other stuff, it's not yours. Don't take it on. And it's the stuff that we take on that's not ours. And when we and the stuff that's not ours is by blaming others. It's part of it is blaming, shaming, anger, frustration, all these negative feelings that we have towards other people. Those are the feelings that keep us connected. Yeah, some things that people do to us, it's not right. Some of the way, but then also, if we look at ourselves, have we done things that were wrong? Probably not to the extent. And you think, well, Lesley, it wasn't the extent. But all I'm saying is, it's not. I'm not saying that one is stronger than the other. What I'm saying is, there's always something. There's always something, and that's you to decide on the inside. When you know on the inside, it's already been processed. All the things that you've been through, it's already been done. It's the uncomfortable emotions and that unsettling feeling. It's because the information that you have processed, you process it incorrectly. And you know that you did if it's still hanging on to you, and there's blame, there's shame, there's guilt, there's anger, there's frustration, there's walls being put up. That's how we know that it wasn't done correctly. In the healing process these days, there's either two ways to do it. You either go to a therapist, or you either blame the other person, or you take the responsibility yourself. But what if there's a third way? What if there's a third way? What if there's a different perspective that can be put on this? And that's precisely what I've made my purpose out. It gets really pretty frustrating to have that stuff keep coming up, every so often. Sometimes it comes up, or it just lingers there within us constantly, or then there's other times when it just comes up over the years, and you're either blaming this person or you're taking responsibility, and it just seems like this never-ending juggling. But what if you could just let it all go? What if there's an opportunity right here, right now, for you to learn how to heal forward? Healing forward. And what that means is really what this information is going to. I know, and I'm going off a little bit, but that's really what this information is going to do. It's going to help people heal forward, because that's what needs to happen. That's where we're at, I think, in our lives. So anyway, let's go to step 2. Step 2 is about looking inward, really, and asking yourself, what makes you you? You have some really beautiful, amazing, you're uniquely made. There's nobody like you, which makes you pretty stinking important, right? It makes you really, really important. And it also makes the things that happen around you and the people around you important as well. Because those interactions that you have with others are how you're going to grow as an individual, but also how you're going to grow your soul. And really, that's why you're here. You're here to grow your soul and to create things. And with this, that's exactly what's going to happen. Everybody has these natural talents and gifts and abilities within themselves. That's just about them. Yeah, maybe other people can play the guitar, maybe other people can drive a race car, or perhaps maybe other people are mathematicians. But it's not just that one quality. There are so many other aspects that make you you, that when you combine these, that's where you start to sing. That's where you start to shine. And this is where you get to shine your light. And this is where you create from, is when you take all of those beautiful, unique, fine-tuned aspects of yourself and you create what you want to create. And you're not in competition with anybody else. This is just about you. This is your life. This is all about your life. So let's look at this next section. And it's about, not only do we have gifts and talents that we're looking for in our abilities, but we're also looking at, what are my beliefs? What do I believe? And what are my values? Those are aspects of who you are. Those are things that make you you. What do you believe is true and not true? And I think the values are a little more solid, I think, in people, I think they should be, but that's up to the individual. But the belief systems, I think, what we believe has to have a little bit of flexibility to it, because remember, the world used to be flat until they realized that it was round, right? So sometimes you can hold a certain belief, but then later gain more education or more knowledge about something, and you realize that new information changed things. And so being flexible on your beliefs is pretty important, because that's obviously, how we progress, how we grow, evolution occurs. And then also our choices and decisions. The choices and decisions that we choose to make determine really how we show up for ourselves. But it's not only how we show up for ourselves, it's also how we show up for other people. I can't get that right. Is that the way we show up for us, for ourselves, through these aspects of who we are, through our gifts, our talents, our abilities, through our values, through our beliefs. When we take these, how are we show? That's how we show up for ourselves when we extend them, right? Are we being honest with ourselves? Are we and are we being honest with others? If you're not honest with yourself, you really can't be. We really can't be honest with others, right? If we're hard on ourselves, there's certain, points to that, but what I'm trying to get at is how we show up for ourselves has a direct correlation to how we treat and show up for others. And so in this little space on step 2, really look at that. Write out, how are you showing up for yourself? How do you, in authentic ways, how am I showing up for myself authentically? What is the real me? And what am I holding in or repressing that I'm afraid other people are going to judge, make fun of, or ridicule me? I'll tell you, I started, when I started doing all this stuff, the last 6 months, I've been petrified to start a podcast and to interview with people. Petrified. Because I had just driven myself crazy, worrying about other people's judgment. But then I realized, no, people are going to judge you anyway. People are going to judge me anyway, for whatever reason. But I had that fear because I've had it in the past, because I carried it with me because of previous judgments and how it made me feel. But when you just take that moment and you say, you know what, and you look within yourself and you really justify, or you break down that fear. Once you do, all that stuff in the past, all those times in the past where you were judged and you didn't know how to fix those, how to deal with it, and you're carrying it on, it's like a domino effect, and it will just knock all those dominoes down. You'll somehow heal all that stuff, and it will all go away, and you'll no longer carry all of those aspects that have been from the past holding you forward. And this is what I mean by healing forward. When you take that moment and you realize, when I took that moment and I realized, Lesley, you are not doing this because of fear of what's happened in the past. Move forward. You've got to move forward. Once you do that, all that other stuff from the past goes away. You don't have to sit and go back and keep rehearsing and have things come up and go back to therapy in a few years and blame one person or take responsibility for us. This is what it means to heal forward. So if you would just, take a few minutes, use this space and really write down, how are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to start showing up for who you are in your authenticity, in your authentic ways? And remember, this is a time for self-reflection. This isn't a time to get angry or oh, and say, that person held me down and do it, no. This is a place where this is just you introducing yourself to you, being very kind and gentle with who you are, and honesty, just honesty. Because honestly, that person doesn't probably even remember. And if they do, it doesn't matter to them like it matters to you. This is for you to do for you so that you can move forward and gain that insight and greater understanding of who you are within yourself. It doesn't matter what other people do. When you get this process down, it's gonna, when I first started doing this, it took me about 6 months. It's like, ever heard a joke and you didn't get it, but then the next day in the shower you started laughing because it came to you? Kind of like this. It might be 6 months. You're gonna ask yourself questions, and then 6 months later you're gonna find that answer. And that's okay. Because somewhere between this point and that point, something happened, and you were able to find that missing piece in order to for those things to click. And one of the things when you start, well, I'll get to that later. But if you're not finished with that section, let's just move on to the next. Really take this PDF and take some time for yourself. I like to do it in the morning where I'm, refreshed, or, whatever makes you happy, either in the morning or the evening, and really just do some inner self-reflection and say, how do I feel about this? What is this telling me about me, right? So if you're not finished figuring all this out, it's a really good thing. It's going to take, sometimes it takes, a short time. Sometimes it just takes a longer time. Depends on how much storage you have. How big is your storage unit? Sometimes we can store a lot of stuff, right? And just be kind and gentle to yourself, because this is a really beautiful thing. This is a healing process. Healing's not supposed to hurt. Healing is a gift you're giving to yourself. So think of this time right now as a gift that you're giving to yourself to heal and to be there for yourself and to nurture yourself, to love yourself. And one of the biggest things that will come out of this is you're not only going to forgive yourself, but you're going to forgive others too. Because it's that lack of forgiveness, or that applying forgiveness, that sets you free. Sets you free. Isn't that really what we all want, is just to live internally just free? Take what happens around us as a lesson, and then be free to make our own choices and decisions. That's what life is for. That's why we're here. So now let's have some fun, right? I want to have some fun. I'd like you to just take a few minutes, really, and kind of reflect on some innate talents, skills, abilities, beliefs, values, that truly define who you are, just off the top of your head. Just take a minute, just off the top of your head, say, just jot it down. Just jot it down, because you can use this next section that I'm going to tell you about when you go back and you start redoing this. And, honestly, I suggest getting a journal and keeping it, and just keep it, because you're going to do this a couple different times, and it's nice to reflect sometimes. It's nice to reflect. But really just take a few minutes and look at these elements. What are these elements that you have? What are the talent, skills, the values that truly define who you are? And these elements are what you're going to combine to create and really understand your own personal identity. And when you have that and you incorporate them into your daily life, they really become an influence on how you perceive and care for yourself. Truly. is how you look at yourself and how you're going to take care of yourself. Are you being honest to yourself? Are you taking care of yourself by presenting your authenticity? Or are you hiding everything because, for some reason? We have nothing to hide. We have absolutely nothing to hide. Some things are nobody's business. And we have a right to our privacy. But there's other aspects of you that you need to let be known. You need to be able to be you. You are uniquely you, and you're freaking amazing. When you get into that little core part of you, and you clean out the storage garage or the storage shed that's inside of you, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how beautiful the scenery is within you. Because that's that inner core, that's that soulful being. And it came here perfect. And these gifts and talents that you have, they're there for you to utilize to determine what you want to create and make your purpose in life. And there's many aspects to it. This exercise is just a way for you to honor your authentic self. That's all it's about. It's just honoring and really truly getting to know that authentic core aspect of who you are, and putting all those little pieces together and making a beautiful puzzle. You're just making a beautiful puzzle. But can you imagine putting a puzzle together and you have the frame, but you just start cramming all the pieces in wherever you can find it, right? What a mess. That's kind of a mess, right? But if you put the pieces where they go correctly, they make a beautiful picture. So let's put the pieces together where they belong and let you be that beautiful picture that you're here to represent, right? So there's going on to the step 3. There's so many different components that create how we think, how we feel, what we believe about ourselves and about the world around us. And sometimes these aspects that we get to really conflict with one another. We don't understand why they're conflicting, and without understanding them completely, it leaves us kind of spinning, right? It leaves us sitting in this hamster wheel, kind of spinning around. And, here's a really good example, and I wrote it down in the PDF. When we judge others when we use judgment, opinions, views, and ideas from the outer circumstances, right, from what's going on around us, if somebody, it's like conforming to the norm, right, so that you can be in the in group, or really not looking within ourselves for what we truly believe, but taking what's on the outside and saying, oh, okay, that's right. Okay, and you take it on as your own belief. Those are where false beliefs come from. And these are when these two aspects start conflicting, because until you know and you ask your inner self and you base those decisions and choices from within you, and you just take what's on the outside and put that in, these are the conflicting components that cause these misbeliefs. And so we start to conform to these outer influences opposed to what we really truly believe on the inside. And this is where a lot of those emotional imbalances come from, because then there's going to be a situation where there's both of them there, and they're not working, they're not fitting together, and our emotions are just in turmoil. And it's because we kind of have this mess. We don't know which is really ours or what was just put onto us that we just accepted, right? So we just accepted as a part of us for whatever reason. And it doesn't even matter the reason. What matters is getting inside yourself, looking within who you are, and kind of cleaning house, cleaning out your storage. It's like spring cleaning your house, right? Every once in a while, over time, over a year's time, you start throwing things in drawers that probably doesn't belong there, and you've been looking for it probably for the last 8 months. But now you're going to find it. You probably don't need it anymore, but that's okay. At least you found it, right? Um, but it's clearing these things out of you that really aren't a true, authentic, a true aspect of your authentic self. That's really, I think that's really important. When we're thinking poorly about ourselves, we look for fault in others, right? When we have that insecurity in ourselves, that's where the judgment of other people comes in, and oh well, I'm not, and we say, well, I'm not so bad. Look at that, right? No, that's not what this is about. This is about um, you feeling good about you looking inside you. There's that old saying, change what you can and accept what you can't, right? Change what you can, accept what you can't. I can't change the fact that I'm only 5 foot 5 inches tall, right? But I can change um, my weight. I can change the way I dress. I can change the way I act. I can change a lot of different things about me. I mean, I'm a girl, and I can't change myself and be born a boy. I don't know. I'm getting into that conversation, but in essence, what I'm saying is there are certain things about you that are just beautiful, and you just accept them because that's who you are. And you make those choices and decisions based on in here, not out there. There's too much out there, and that's why I believe we're having the mental health issues that we're having, because we don't know what's in here. We've never been taught what's in here, and that's okay. That's okay. For generations, this has been going on for decades. But it's time now to take a new perspective, right? It's time now for us to really start looking at things with a fresh eye, because in this fashion, by doing this, you're going to not only know yourself better, forgive yourself for a lot of stuff, and have compassion for yourself. Once you have that for yourself, you will find it in other people. But you can't give something to others that you don't have within yourself. So when we obtain that within ourselves, it can pour out of you all day long, like a wellspring, right, bubbling up inside of you. You know, like I said earlier, when we think poorly about ourselves, we often see, only we often look for fault in others, or and usually it's out of envy or jealousy or whatever, or how we feel about ourselves inside. But on the contrary, when we love and accept the aspects of ourselves, the same will be seen and done when we're looking at other people. When we know who we are, we make mistakes, we have insecurities, and when we acknowledge those, we can acknowledge it with other people. And when we know that we have insecurities about something and we're working on that, um, we're going to be able to see insecurities in others, and we're going to give them compassion. We're going to have more understanding. We're going to better understand our environments. And in this way, people start healing. People start coming together. Communities, we start treating each other more gently and more respect. Now, does this mean that everybody's going to play in your ball game because you're playing this ball game? No, it doesn't. In fact, not very many might. But that's not the point. That's not the point. We can't change other people. right? We can't change other people. But what we can do is change ourselves. When we change who we are as an individual, it will create this rippling effect, and it will go out. And the faster we change, and the more we put this into our lives, the bigger the waves, the bigger the waves. And what happens is the things that, that come in, it's like the sea. It comes in and it goes away. And what will happen is that the ripples are going to bring into you the things that are more conducive to your authentic self, and it's going to take out the things that aren't um, beneficial to you and aren't of value to you. Does that make sense? When you put something out, it will come back to you like the tides of water. And the people that are meant to stay will stay, and the people that are meant to go will go. But those are your choices and decisions. You can keep those people. You can keep whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. But when these things come in, we all have choices and decisions. We get to decide. What do we want our lives to be? How do we want to grow? Why are you here? You have a choice. We all have choices and decisions about what we want our life to be about, what we want to stand for in our lives. What do we want to do in this lifetime? Do we want to understand on a deep, deep level, on a soulful, spiritual, religion? I don't care which direction you take. You don't have to take a spiritual approach. You don't have to take a religious approach. But what you do have to take is a personal approach and decide, why am I here? And what do I want to do in this lifetime that's going to make a difference? How can I make a difference? And if that difference is only you, and you live your life just plowing through things and just, constantly feeling like you're battling something, but in the inside it feels right, my friend, you're a change maker. You're a leader. And when you're a change maker, excuse me, and you're a leader, and you go through life living on the inside, regardless of what happens on the outside. I mean, you're going to have it coming at you all the time. I know. Trust me. It's tough. You can say, "But Lesley, God, it's been my whole life." Yeah, I know. But clearing this stuff out, you got to just clear out your closet, and it will bring into you the things that are going to make you feel safe, the things that are going to comfort you, the things that are going to nurture you. You're going to find those heroes in your life. You're going to find a hero to be for someone, right? You're going to know your authenticity. You're going to live. You're going to have great posture. You're going to hold your head up, and you're going to move forward, feeling good, feeling really good. Okay, I know I go off. So really, it's how do you make these, how do you make these changes? How do you know when it's coming in, when it's coming out? And it's by weighing the aspects and then determining the values that they hold for you as a person, for your own individual growth, right? The only way for this really to be done properly is from within you, like I said. But otherwise, if you don't do it from the inside, if you don't start weighing these options when you start to clean out stuff, and when things start coming in, if you really don't start weighing these options out, and really on the inside, is this really in your best interest? Next year, when you start spring cleaning, or in 3 months, or whenever something comes up again, you're going to find it back in your storage container. The stuff just hangs around until you decide what to do with it. It will just hang around all the time. It can be stuff. It can be in relationships. It can be in behaviors. It can be in thoughts. It can be in a lot of different stuff. And until you decide what you're worth, what you want out of this lifetime. Do you want healthy, happy relationships? Do you want to surround yourself with people that are supportive, people that love and care and nurture you? Or do you want to be surrounded by just a bunch of people that are mediocre? We could have 5 really amazing friends, or we can have 1,000 people surround us. What is it? What what does it mean to you? Do you have relationships that are meaningful and help you grow? Or do you have them there just because you don't want to be alone? You know, what is it? What is it about? But when you weigh these options, when we come against certain things like relationships or situations or choices and decisions, and it's like anything, we have to weigh them out. But I'm talking more about the interactions that we have with people, right? When people come into your life, how do you determine, you know, if they're authentic? Um, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you're being authentic, right? So you look at the situation, what's being presented to you, right? Because no two people are the same, and therefore there's going to be differences. There's going to be differences, and differences within us is truly necessary. So often we can judge others and really put it down, put it down, or ridicule it, or condemn it, or whatever, because of the differences. But if you think about it, it's within the differences that really add value to us, because we get to look at these things and say, there's a different perspective. Just like there's a caveat of different aspects of you, there's also that in other people. So when you pick what is meaningful for you from a person, you look at that value and where those things, where you have shared interests. That's really great. But then the differences are also really great too, because then you can learn even more about who you are and about who they are. And you might not ever come to any sort of agreement. So this is the time when you get to just appreciate your difference from that. This is what makes you you and what makes them them, and respect that. And the times for me personally when this is when it's a game changer is really in values. It's in the value system. What do I value? Honesty, integrity, morals, things like this. But other than certain core beliefs that I have about myself, meaning those inner value systems, appreciate those other people. Just appreciate them for their, even though they're different from you. Don't ridicule it. Don't put it down. Just appreciate it, because that's them. Because really, we want the same for us, right? If we want to be uniquely us, and we want to be respected for who we are, we have to give that out. Does it mean it's going to come back? No. But putting it out, that's all that matters. Because remember, this is your storage. This isn't, you're not sharing a storage unit with anybody else. But when we judge other people and stuff like that, you're putting that stuff in your storage. You're holding on to that stuff. You got to clean it next spring. No, it's not about anybody else but you. It's not about anybody else. This is your beautiful life. And remember, you want to be as amazing as possible, right? So, in essence, the differences really are the aspects that set the foundation. Our differences set the foundation to improve ourselves, and it also sets the foundation of our belief systems, um, our own ideas, our own thoughts, everything else. But really taking these differences, I have that in the PDF. But when we understand that the differences provide us opportunities to learn more about ourselves through with our interactions with others, and really respecting that and really wanting ourselves respected. If we respect others, we're not going to be offended when other people don't respect us, right? It's when we don't respect others that we get offended when people don't respect us, kind of in a way, right? Just be you from the inside and be consistent, because when you're done, when all this is done from within who you are, through your own personal awareness, through your own choices and decisions, from you're creating your individual perspective about and for your growth. This is about you growing you as an individual, because your life is about you, for you, and because of you. When you start realizing this and you do it from the inside, the world's a crazy place. There's a lot going on, but you have to think about it. What are there, 5 or 6 generations living on this planet right now? There has to be a lot of accommodations for all these everybody's different needs. If we're all made up of these individual aspects, we're all going to have those unique needs, and there's just a plethora of choices available. 6 generations within every generation, and not only do we have 6 generations really living on the planet, but you have all these different cultures, different belief systems, different everything, right? Different everything. So of course there's going to be a lot of confusion on the outside. But if you know who you are on the inside and you start living from in here, all that stuff you're going to hone in, and you're going to just focus on and only become more aware of what it is you need. When the outer world starts getting crazy, it's because we stop looking within. When we're looking within, we're able to focus on what we want from authenticity. And you'd be surprised, my friends, how it starts to show up, how those things just start to show up for you. They just do. And all that craziness on the outside, just because it's a part of the world doesn't mean you have to make it a part of yours. It just doesn't. But when we don't know what we want and who we are on the inside, and when we don't know who we are on the inside, we really don't know what we want. And so we start grasping at everything that's around us. But when we live from here, oh, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. You have the ability to accept or reject the things in life that either bring you joy, and when they stop bringing you joy, you don't have to keep it in your life. But you don't send it away with anger or frustration. You be kind and you be gentle, and you thank it. You thank it for being in your life. And sometimes there's friendships or relationships that you just have to thank. Maybe you grew up with a group of girls that you all have hung out for years and years and years, right? And you get married. You can't hang out with your single friends like that anymore. If you're married and having kids, their lifestyle is going to be different than yours. Sometimes you have to kind of let those things go. But when they start, coming with their children, and you guys start to come together, then you start finding more interests, and you can move in together. You can flow in and out of each other's lives. Makes it a lot easier than being harsh and abrasive and cutting it completely out of your life. Just let it go with peace. Let it go with love and peace. I hope this is really helping you, and I really hope that you use this method periodically throughout your inner spring cleaning. When you start doing that inner work and you start cleaning out, what's in you. Because just like our homes, we have to do that spring cleaning. Use this journal. Use a journal to reflect on. Keep this. Keep the PDF. Maybe print it off. Stick it in a file in your folder on your computer, and periodically just start looking at it when you're not feeling good inside. And, remembering, of course, that if you ever go back and read a journal, it's just there to glance. Take a quick glance at it. It's like the rear view mirror of your car, right? You have your big windshield where you can see where you're going. You have all those options, right? There's that little there's that little rear view mirror. And that thing's only to look up and glance about how far you've come. If you spend, too much time looking in that rear view mirror, you can kind of turn into those old ways and you start reminiscing and, kind of can get into accidents and run into stuff and make the same decisions. It's just a glance how far you've come, because you've come a long way from whatever it was that's tripping you up or keeping you on that hamster wheel. You've come a long way from there, a long way. You just have to give yourself some credit and really look inside and say, what can I do differently? How can I love myself more? How can I be more compassionate with myself so that I show more compassion to others? Otherwise, there's a lot of missed opportunities that were going to come to you. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities by sticking in the past and not really moving forward. It really makes a mess of things. And then you just have to clean it out, when the spring comes again. So let's look at this page 10. This is about celebrating yourself. This is a really fun part. On one side of the sheet, I want you to just look at the gifts, the talents, and the abilities that you know that you have right now, and just write those down. And then there's the beliefs and values that you have on the next column. And really celebrate yourself. Really celebrate yourself. I'm certain by now you really truly should have a greater vision of who you are, or what you need to do. If you don't have the idea of who you are, at least you know where to begin to figure out who you are, right? Who you are. And all you need now is to just put on those comfy clothes and get out your natural cleaning products that are inside of you and just start hammering it out. Clean out that inner space and get rid of some of these things. And when you do, just start writing down these beliefs. Really, what do you believe is true about you? What is true about you? And what do you value? And what are your gifts and talents? And what are your abilities? And when you start looking at those and you really start living those, they're going to start, and you start putting them together to see your unique perspective, to see how unique you are, how beautiful that you were created. Whether you take a religious approach, a spiritual approach, whether you take a whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can just take an individual approach. But I'll tell you one thing. Once you get started with this, there's no turning back. Because it's the most beautiful gift you will ever give to yourself. It's such a beautiful healing gift. And you have to be able to give to yourself first, right? Anyway, there's just a little note of warning too. When you go through this process, I know that there was a huge, it felt like a huge gap or a huge space within me. And at first, it was kind of scary. It was kind of, it was just this emptiness, this void. I didn't understand what it was. When you get to that point, enjoy it. That's that freedom. That's that freedom that we're looking for. And because you haven't felt it, that's something in my eye. And because you haven't ever felt it, it's going to be uncomfortable. But that little space that you're going to create, that empty, when you get rid of all this stuff, just enjoy it, because trust me, it's going to fill up quicker than you think. It truly, really will. And hopefully you're going to fill it up with truly what's authentic about you, because you're going to know from the inside of who you are. Really, and like I said before, be really flexible. Flexibility is really important from here on out because you're going to learn and grow depending on where you are. For me, this all started when I was 40, and the growth was pretty rapid for about 10 years. And then I slowed way down, but I had a lot of stuff. I had a lot of stuff. And you, I mean, wherever you are in your life, if you're younger, that's great. Start now. But if we could teach this to our kids, we could teach this to the children now, how different their lives would be. If we ever wanted to really leave anything for future generations, I think that it would be um, this would be the best gift we could ever give them, is to teach them how to live authentically. We want to, people say, oh, we want to leave them clean oceans and da da da, but somebody's always dumping into it, right? But if we could teach kids now how to live authentically, and think of all of the hurt, the anger, the cultural aspects, the discrepancies and the violence that happens around the world. But they're going to live from in here, from a place of peace. They're not going to be. I think the world would just be such a beautiful place, and if it could be, if we could teach that to children, right? Teach it to little kids and help them understand to have compassion and help them understand who they are and help them understand how to watch themselves grow, right? And like I said before, you got to be flexible. Flexibility is crucial. Crucial. It's like you can't wear the same clothes you wore when you were an infant or when you were in, middle school or high school or whatever. Maybe you can, but I don't know. But you got to be flexible because things are really going to change. And remember, you're your own Picasso. This is your painting. You are the canvas, and you are the artist that it's creating the masterpiece of yourself and your life that you're going to live. And all of these experiences that we have within our lifetime determine the color that we put on our palette, determine the color palette that we use of painting a picture of ourselves. And we can have them bright and sunny, beautiful colors, or we can have them dark and dingy and not so vibrant colors. But I just really hope that as you go through and you start looking at your authentic self, that you really start noticing those bright, beautiful, vibrant colors that are on your palette to paint with. You have a beautiful, beautiful palette, and it all comes from those choices and decisions that you make in every single moment, and those are what's going to determine the colors that you end up putting on your canvas. I just really want to take a few moments to just say thank you. I hope this video, I hope this really helped you, the information. I hope the information is really provided great value and gave you some really serious insight into who you are. And not only that, but I hope it's bringing you some relief that it is possible to get rid of this stuff and get rid of it in a healthy, non-judgment, peaceful way. And that's truly what it's about. Because when you look from within, greater clarity comes to you rather than looking from the outside and trying to build inside, right? And I hope with this new perspective, you're thinking, what's possible now? What's possible now? And taking the time to really see that tremendous value that you have within yourself. And if you can't see it yet, keep digging, because I'm going to tell you what, that light within you is so bright that you're going to need shades, my friend. When you find that light, you're going to need some serious shades. because it's amazing. It's amazing. And the power that you're going to have. But look, the key is peace and harmony in everything. And the only way it comes is from inside. It's by making those thoughtful um, choices and decisions about who you are. And if you don't know, that's okay too. In fact, that's great. If you have questions and you get to this, you're like, oh my gosh, Leslie, I don't even know. I don't know. That's fine. Set it aside because that means you don't have to clean up anything. That means that this is a brand new area of exploration, right? You get to explore that area and you get to determine what it is. You get to craft it and create it within yourself, like a artist with clay. You get to make it for yourself. You know, avoiding harsh criticism, avoid blaming, shaming, self doubt, insecurities. Leave it all behind because that's not who you are. It's not who you are because um, you have personal preferences are the only thing that really matters. It's what you think. What do you prefer for you? And if you make a mistake or you change your mind, that's fine. But let's say the paint's on my canvas, paint over it. Paint over it. That's why I said be flexible. Just be flexible. And this, my friend, all of these things that I've told you are the core foundations of why you're here and how to actually grow your soul. Not only grow your soul, but these are going to make the changes in the greater consciousness. We all come here, and if you're a religious person or not a religious person, we all come here with this so-called original sin, right? We come here. It's not sin that we carry from ourselves. This is something that's happening in this lifetime that we came here to make a difference, to change. It's not a burden we have to carry, other than the fact that we need to make some changes. We came here to make these changes. And the reason that we have this baptism, Christians have a baptism through Jesus, when he baptizes, is to remember to live like he lived his life, with authenticity, with being genuine, being honest, being sincere, by looking within and having that connection, having that divine connection, right? To have that divine connection. But this is truly just the beginning of your journey, and I'm really, really excited. There's so much more that you get to explore, and I really hope that you do this and that you have fun with it, because I'm telling you, once you get started, you can't go back, because you're going to learn and you're going to know too much. Even the mustard size seed of knowledge from within yourself is going to inspire you to be even more curious about who you are and what it is that you want. Now, I'm launching a new program. If you want any more information, or you really want to get serious and start digging in really deep, until August 1st, I'm holding open. I started a new pilot program with one-on-one mentorship with me personally. It's just one-on-one, you and me. This won't happen again after this, because it'll be too much for me. But I have a certain amount of spaces available where that I've set aside to work through this pilot program. And if you want some more information on that, please visit my website at lesleypazdzioch.com, and we'll see, how we'll set up an appointment and see how we interact together, if our personalities can work together, and let me know if I can help you. Because if I don't believe I can help you and I can't work with you, I'm not going to waste your time. But that doesn't mean you can't take the course. It doesn't mean that you can't take the course in August, because then there will be a group setting, and we're all going to learn together um, and through each other. And that's how it was supposed to be in the first place, right? We're here to learn together and learn from each other about who we are. And I think that having a group membership that allows for this is one of my biggest dreams and desires. And just imagine, I mean, a community of people from all around the world, all collectively figuring out who they are and how they're seeing the world on a much bigger perspective, right? Broader perspective. That's why I think it's beautiful. It will not only will help us throughout in our families, in our communities, in our countries, but it will also help us globally have a better understanding of what this is all about. You know, every nation, every country has people coming in from other countries, and we're all the people that live there kind of are upset about it, right? And perhaps maybe the way they were brought in, or the way they came in to your specific country or state or what have you. The fact remains too that if we really looked at it, anybody in any country, any American, anyone around the world from a country that that is having this happening, I think it's important really for us to understand that if we would have been in the situations they were in, we would have done the same thing. We would have gotten out as fast as we could to save our lives. People, they left with just the clothes on their back. That's desperation. That's desperation. And while some came to different countries and haven't really understood the culture and really the etiquette or the way that people live, perhaps maybe that's something that you can teach. Maybe you can help them understand the culture in your area, and then you can also learn something from them about their culture. And this is where we all come together, because not only each and every human being has a piece to our puzzle, but around the world, each and every culture, community, um, country has a piece of the puzzle that we all need to survive. Every religion has a piece of a puzzle that we all need to know the truth from. And when we start coming together and we're putting those pieces together in harmony, that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen in the world. Because heaven and earth, even though it's disruptive now, they're coming together. They're coming together. It's time for peace. It's time for peace. If we think about it, the Holy Divine, the creator of the Almighty Creator, finally came down 2,500 years ago almost as Christ. Said, here, let me show you how to do it. This is how you do it. I've already had to start over again a couple different times. We know that by archaeology. I've already had to start over. Look at Egypt, right? I mean, they can go down 25,000 years to find cities built on cities. Maybe it's time that we humble ourselves as a human race and start working together for the greater good from the inside out. Right? That's what this is all about. God always wins in the end. The creator, however you see him, he has many different names. His name's not universe. His name is, look in the Bible. It says it. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. Anyway, If you are really interested in joining me with this pilot program that I'm having, please go to my website at lesleypazdzioch.com, and you will, or there's actually a link in the description below this video, and sign up and let's start working together, because the change that we want to see in the world happens within us first, and it's a rippling effect that goes out into the world, and this is how change occurs. But we can't expect change outside before we decide to change inside. We have to change inside in order to see or be guided to the changes that we want to see on the outside. The world's not broken, it's breaking open. Let me say that again. The world is not broken, it's breaking open. That's how it is. On the last page of this PDF, there's a really beautiful picture that, make it a screen, a screensaver, put it on your computer, whatever, something that, print it out, whatever it is, put it in your wallet, and really look at that when you feel like you're going to fail. We often get afraid, and we're fearful. And what if I fail? What if I fail? But you're not going to fail. When you use this, I guarantee you will not fail. This is the one sure way. You won't fail. And I want you to put this out, and I want you to remember and really look at as if the Almighty and the Holy Divine were talking to you. And you say, what if I fail? What if I fail? Because they're going to look down at you and they're going to say, oh, my dear one, you will soar to great heights. This is about soaring throughout your life. And I just truly hope that that you begin cleaning out your closets. Take out that storage unit. Clean it out. Give that stuff back. Give it away. You don't need it anymore. It's no longer serving you. It hasn't served you. Start creating your empty space of freedom. It's your freedom to fill it up with whatever you choose, not with what somebody else or an outer circumstances. How do you choose about you, right? I hope this video helped you, and I look forward to hopefully working with you in the future. Take care.